family channel seems like a dream. You get to stay home with your kids, record your everyday life, and make a very comfortable living. There are some family channels that do just that. They record their day-to-day life, and their videos are mainly centered around the adults, with the kids just being sprinkled in here and there. Unfortunately, as these channels have grown, people have started to push the limits. The kids became the main focus of the videos, with clickbait titles where their most personal and private moments are just another dramatic thumbnail. One channel that's guilty of doing just that is 8 Passengers.
Hi guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Ruby.
We're the drivers of the 8 Passengers. We're mom and dad. We thought it would be fun to just say hi and introduce our family. We've got a lot of fun things planned today. We're going to celebrate Ruby's
birthday!
Hope we have fun today. I will talk to you guys later.
And if you're not good, I will turn this car around and we will go home.
Seriously.
Behave.
8 Passengers is a YouTube channel with over 2 million subscribers, and it's run by Ruby and Kevin Franke. Their videos are centered around their lives as a family of 8, and their 6 kids range in ages from 8 to 19, with the 2 oldest being Chad 17 and Sherry 19. Now, 8 Passengers isn't your typical family channel. They're Mormon and they belong to the Church of Latter-day Saints, and their videos are heavily based on their faith. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just giving you guys a heads up, this isn't your typical Ace family. They posted their first video back in 2015, which was a gender reveal for their youngest daughter, Eve. They had their first huge break back in July of 2015 when their video titled "Baby Climbs Out of a Crib" hit 20 million views. The videos kind of started off as home movies, just documenting their very normal life. But as they grew, the content became more planned out and more focused around the kids. By August of 2017, their channel had hit 1 million subscribers, and that's when I think things really started to get out of hand. As the views and subscribers grew, the videos became more and more focused on their kids' most personal and private moments, with titles like Sherry's First Date. Did Chad really lose his phone for the summer? I talked to your teacher. Diagnosing why Julie blinks so much. And that's just the start. There's been so many videos that completely cross the line when it comes to personal boundaries. They've also filmed really personal moments between Ruby and her daughter when her daughter was so sick that she was crawling into bed and laying on the bathroom floor. Now, I want you guys to think back to when you were growing up and you were really sick in bed with something like strep throat, just feeling horrible and wanting to be left alone. Imagine now being an adult and knowing all of those really personal moments were put on the internet for millions of people to see. Imagine knowing that you really didn't get a choice in the matter either because you were too young to really know the downside of being put all over the internet. That's why so many people don't like family channels. A parent's job is to provide for their kids, but in a way, family channel kids are providing for the parents. They're the reason these parents can stay home and buy houses and cars and live a life of luxury. But that's not the only reason why people don't like 8 Passengers. Over the years, Ruby and Kevin's parenting style has come under massive scrutiny. People feel like they're extremely harsh with their punishments, especially when it comes to their oldest son, Chad. In June of 2019, it seemed like Ruby made Chad get on camera and talk about why his phone was taken away from him for the entire summer. Chad was in the middle of playing with his friends outside and having a good time, and then Ruby decided to whip out her camera and start making her son explain his personal issues to her followers.
We gotta do a little update here for a second.
I have therapy and I got kicked out of my school. Whoa! Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's asking if you still have your phone taken away for the summer.
Yep, I do.
Yes.
Sadly.
And
it's not her fault, it's mine.
When will you learn, Chad?
Your actions have consequences.
A lot of you guys say, oh, you shouldn't get mad at them for bad grades. They try their hardest. You, on the
I
other
did not
end,
try my hardest.
don't know that he
cheated on a test.
It just goes to show you the complete lack of privacy that these kids seem to have. Whatever was going on sounds like an issue that should have been sorted out in private, maybe with the parents and the school, not dissected for millions of random people online. The next incident with Chad happened a few months later in August of 2019. Ruby was filming daily vlogs, and people were wondering why Chad was missing from all of her videos during the summer. People were wondering if he was maybe at summer camp having fun, but the reality is much darker. Ruby and Kevin posted a video titled, "Where is Chad?" where they talk about their decision to send their son to wilderness camp.
Chad today has just entered the Anasazi Foundation Wilderness Therapy Program, where he's going to spend the next 8 to 10 weeks living in the
Anasazi Desert.
Yeah, the desert mountains of Arizona. And he'll be with counselors and other youth that are trying to figure some things out. Chad needs to develop some very basic maturity and skills that he's going to need as an adult. You know, no one's forcing him, no one's dragging him. He's actually really looking forward to this.
Even though Ruby and Kevin are making it sound like it was Chad's decision and they make it out to be some great thing, wilderness camps don't have the best reputation. So many people have come out and talked about how negatively these programs have affected them and how horribly they're run. There's tons of videos on TikTok from adults who were sent to these programs as teens, and they talk about the PTSD and severe emotional trauma that they've been left with because of these camps. Now, I'm not saying that the one Chad was sent to is anything like some of these really bad ones, but in general, a lot of people don't have the best reputation. So many people have come out and talked about how negatively these programs have affected them and how horribly they're run. There's tons of videos.
Parenting influencer accused of child abuse. The lawyer for the husband of Ruby Franke sat down with ABC News, telling his client's side of the story of his wife's arrest. Kana Whitworth is back with that. Good morning again, Kana.
Hey, Michael, good morning again to you. Now,
mother and YouTube star Ruby Franke was arrested for child abuse. A police report from 2022 shows that neighbors and family raised concerns about the children last year.
Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree has the details.
Documents obtained by Fox 13 News show in September of 2022, in addition to multiple reports from neighbors, Ruby Franke's oldest daughter, Sherry Franke, called police out of concern that her sisters and brothers had been left alone for 5 days while their mother was in St. George with a friend.
He's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
We're taking a closer look at the case of Ruby Franke, the YouTuber mom now accused of child abuse. For the first time, we're hearing the chilling 911 call and emergency radio communications after Franke's son escaped from her business partner's home and was found emaciated with open wounds.
He asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid.
That 911 call came in just before 11 a.m. on August 30th. A neighbor in Ivins, Utah, a remote area about 4 hours south of Salt Lake City, reported a 12-year-old boy showed up at his house asking for help.
911, the address of your emergency. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The caller then references problems at the neighbor's home before explaining the boy arrived looking emaciated with duct tape around his wrists and ankles.
We know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Officials later determined the boy's mother is Ruby Franke, the YouTuber behind the 8 Passengers channel. Once boasting more than 2 million subscribers, the channel is now defunct after being terminated.
My gosh, you guys, having kids is so much fun.
On her YouTube channel, Franke documented the lives of her 6 children and husband, Kevin, recording videos about everything from home renovations to back-to-school shopping.
I hate to say this because it's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
In the past, Franke had addressed critics, saying she wouldn't stop mothering her way.
Online who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in hell, as I have told, or disappear off the face of the earth, and I'm not going anywhere.
But it was Frankie's own son who requested 911 be called.
And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid. This kid has obviously been, I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
First responder radio communications captured the moments after this 911 call came into dispatch.
Ruby said a 12-year-old male showed up with tape around his legs Thursday asking for help, said he was afraid asking for police. Deborah, he gave the name of Russell Franke, unknown date of birth, or he did give us the date of birth, but I'm not showing any Russells and Spillman. I'll keep looking into that. The RP said he left through the porch of the neighbor's house.
First responders can then be heard discussing the boy's wounds, saying he has sores all over his body.
Does have duct tape around each ankle. He's not telling the RP why, and said that there's sores around his wrists and ankles. The RP is becoming emotional.
Then, for the first time, Ruby Franke is mentioned by name.
Sorry, the RP said that he left from a neighbor's Jody Hildebrand in Ivan's 54-year-old female. Not sure if they're related. When asking the RP's parents info, he said his mom is Ruby Franke, unknown where she lives.
First responders also mentioned Jody Hildebrand, whose home Frankie's son escaped from. Franke and Hildebrand have a past relationship, collaborating on parenting videos.
Do you have an address for that, Jody?
Tampa 8.
Anytime you think I want, fill in the blank, I don't care what it is, that is not love. Love is a gift that you offer because you have generated it inside yourself. And how do you generate love? Well, the only way to generate love is you use your agency to choose principles of truth.
First responders then mention the boy's siblings, who are still back at the home.
He's also saying that there's 2 of his sisters are back at the home as well.
Officials say when they arrived to the scene, investigators went to a nearby home, finding other children in similar conditions. In all, 4 children were eventually taken to the Department of Child and Family Services.
10-18, 3 minutes, medical's in front of me.
Recordings capture officials arriving to the scene when they see the 12-year-old boy's condition firsthand.
Hey, 314, the wounds on his leg are pretty good. 12X511, 314, medical's gonna transport him. Said that his wounds are in need of immediate care.
Next, there's some confusion as first responders ask for a Rose Franke rather than Ruby Franke.
Confirming Rose Franke.
But officials quickly realize it's Ruby Franke that they're looking for.
I don't have any Rose Frankies coming back in Stillman or in Utah. I did find a Ruby Franke, which I sent to 12X11, showing an address out of Springville. However, only involvement is a traffic offense a couple days ago.
Additional first responders again comment on the boy's condition.
12X11, 314 as well. The child looks very emaciated.
Officials then discuss the next steps, deciding the boy needs medical care.
Or you want medical to hold off to transport to the hospital? We need to get some photographs first. 10-4, we're going to have him hold here. Yeah, if he's alert and breathing, just hang out and wait for us, please.
According to a press release, the boy's condition was, quote, so severe that they were seen by the Santa Clara Ivans EMS and transported to a local hospital. Eventually, the conversation comes back to Franke and Hildebrand over the radio.
She wanted when she announced that they were going to the movies. I mean, Eve had asked her mom what movie they were going to see after she was told by her mom that they were going to the theaters, which rightfully so. And here's how Ruby reacted.
Going.
We are going to a movie, so go get on your shoes.
What is it? What?
Does it even matter? If someone asked me if I wanted to go to a movie, I wouldn't ask what is it. Run and get your shoes or you're gonna not go. Hurry! Everyone run! Hey, this is Ruby. I was wondering, is Brooke available to babysit?
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. What a good idea for spring break.
Mom, I'm really sorry.
Well, good. I will call her again. Tell her I will call her again.
Sure.
Okay, have fun.
Uh-huh.
I am not taking Eve, unless you come and give me a huge apology. You come give me a hug and you come say you're sorry. No, again, where I can pay attention. It was not very thankful of you. I was excited and I told you to go get on your shoes and your jacket to see a movie. And you should say, okay, and be grateful. Instead of, well, what movie? Well, I don't know. Let me think about it. That's not very grateful, and I'm not going to take a girl who's not grateful. Can you show some more gratitude? Okay, give me a big hug.
And thanks for inviting me to the movie.
Oh, I'm glad you had a change of...
Ruby also forced her daughter to sleep on the bathroom floor after she had wet the bed. She said this publicly, that her younger daughter had wet the bed, which, not to mention, is another red flag to just air that out to millions of people. After telling the world that Eve usually wets the bed once every 8 months, Ruby says that she told her daughter to go sleep on the floor in the bathroom in case she had another accident. So instead of changing her and washing her sheets and changing her into dry clothes, here's how Ruby thought was the right way to handle this.
In bed with me at about 2 this morning. She's like, Mom, I peed the bed, which is not like her. She pees the bed maybe like once every 8 months. Like, it's been a very long time since she wet the bed. I was like, oh, darn it, that's all right. Just
now on to the infamous clip of Ruby and the way she treated Chad. Keep in mind that this is just one instance that was caught on camera that people are really infuriated about. I'm gonna let you guys watch this clip for yourself, but basically Ruby takes Chad's homework away from him as a way of punishment, and she and his husband talk about how they can recompensate for getting his homework back.
I have to neglect the kids. Am I embarrassing you? What I did was I went around the house and I have thrown them away. That's my homework. Wow. Explain the rules to this.
7.
We're done.
2. Stop. Reading the homework.
So you're all like, what? I have your attention now? Is that it? You're all gonna listen? If you have something in the bag that you would like out, you can pay cash for it. So you learn the value of your items. Or you can give what? Dad, I'll let you take the conversation from here.
You can do an equivalent value chore to get it back.
What's it?
And whatever isn't by the end of the day goes in the garbage.
People in these comments were equally shocked and outraged that these scenes were so publicly aired for years along. As I mentioned, people are also coming for Kevin Franke, the father of 8 passengers, and asking him why he thought this behavior was justifiable, or why he didn't step in and have Ruby take a step back from all the horrendous parenting that she was doing.